All right, guys, so today we're gonna talk a little bit about the Moscow Mule. One of our Facebook followers, Stefan, asked us to make a Moscow Mule, but it's a pretty straightforward cocktail. Ginger beer, vodka, a little bit of lime. So today what we're gonna talk about is we're gonna talk a little history. We're gonna talk about making one of the most important parts of the Moscow Mule, the ginger beer itself. As legend has it, John B. Martin, owner of Smirnoff at the time, and Jack Morgan, owner of the Cock and Bull English-style pub in Los Angeles, came up with the Moscow Mule, the vodka-based drink in the copper cup that's mixed with a ginger beer. Don't exactly think that's true. The more reading into it that you do, you kind of find out this might have just been a happy accident. Not only do those two gentlemen claim fame to inventing the cocktail, but also Cock and Bull bartender Wes Price has claimed fame to inventing the cocktail himself. But like I said, what we're kind of finding out from reading about this is that it's just a happy accident. When you read about the Moscow Mule, you find out some very interesting things about the guys who supposedly came up with the cocktail. Morgan, with his Cock and Bull English-style pub, had bought a shitload of ginger beer that he just couldn't get rid of. Also, Morgan at the time had a girlfriend who owned a copper product company. When asked about the copper mugs for Moscow Mules, Morgan himself even said, "I was just trying to clean out the basement." And then on top of that, Martin, who had just recently acquired the Russian vodka Smirnoff, was having a really hard time trying to get Americans to latch on to the idea of drinking vodka cocktails over bourbon or gin cocktails. So in all, it just kind of seems like a nice, happy accident when this cocktail came about. One guy had too much vodka, one guy had too much ginger beer, and a connection with copper mugs that were just sitting in his basement. So if nothing else, we get a happy coincidence for a great cocktail. But today, instead of concentrating on the history of the cocktail and the vodka that goes in the cocktail, we're gonna talk about ginger beer and how you can make a great ginger beer at home, and it is super, super simple. So we're gonna get this mug out of the way, and we're gonna start with a 16-ounce resealable bottle. Same thing that you would see a lot of beer served in. So we're gonna start with about 2 ounces of fresh squeezed lemon juice. You wanna make sure that all these fresh squeezed juices that are going into this ginger beer, which is gonna be lemon juice, lime juice, and ginger juice, are finely strained. If they're not finely strained, you're gonna end up with some fermentation happening in the bottle after you want the fermentation to stop. So next we're gonna go with an ounce of fresh squeezed lime juice. And then this here is just fresh squeezed ginger root juice. Essentially what you're gonna do is you're gonna wanna peel the ginger root, cut it into chunks, and then drop it in your juicer the same way that you would drop in anything else. We're gonna use about an ounce of this. The other great part about making your ginger beer at home is, if you like spicier ginger beer, you can go ahead and add 2 ounces, an ounce and a half, whatever you wanna do. If you like it to be a little more citrusy, you can add some more citrus to it. Next, we're gonna go with our simple syrup. Now traditionally, you would just use a 2-to-1 rich simple syrup, so 2 parts sugar, 1 part water. With my ginger beer, I like to use a lavender simple syrup. The lavender really helps add some sweetness to the citrus and just makes the ginger beer pop in general. We're gonna do 3 ounces of lavender simple syrup. Next comes one of the most important parts of the ginger beer and what it's actually gonna cause the fermentation in our ginger beer. We're gonna use some granulated champagne yeast. The champagne yeast is from Red Star. It's really affordable, it's really easy to get a hold of. You can order it from Amazon.com. I wanna say you get 15 packs for like $6 or something like that, but extremely important to this ginger beer recipe. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take 1/4 of a teaspoon here, and we're gonna scoop out about 1/3 of 1/4 of a teaspoon of champagne granules. We're gonna drop it right in. We're gonna top this off with 9 ounces of warm water. You're gonna cap it, put it in a cool, dark place for about 48 hours. You don't wanna leave it longer than 48 hours, and then take it out of that cool place and replace it right in the refrigerator. Over the next 48 hours, the champagne yeast is gonna start to ferment inside your ginger beer, adding alcohol to the ginger beer. What you wanna do is you wanna move it to the refrigerator to stop the fermentation process. So in order to make our cocktail, we're gonna start with 2 ounces of vodka today. We're gonna be using our Reka Icelandic vodka, just because I like it and it's a really great vodka. So once we have our 2 ounces of vodka in there, we're gonna wanna go ahead and add about 3/4 of an ounce of freshly squeezed lime juice. Next, we're gonna fill our glass with ice, and then simply just top it off with your ginger beer. Now, one tip, that champagne yeast has caused effervescence to happen in this bottle. If you shake the bottle before you open it, it's going to spray everywhere just as a champagne would. So just be careful. You wanna gently come off the top and then open it. I'm gonna top it off with our ginger beer. And then we're just gonna garnish it with a lime. Just rub it right around the rim of the glass just to make sure some of that lime juice gets everywhere. And there you are, folks. Just another helpful tip from your friendly neighborhood bartender. See you guys soon. All right, guys, and if you liked that cocktail, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook or Instagram. We'll see you guys soon.